Well, it was either the greatest speech President Donald Trump has ever given, or if you're coming from the left, it was the worst speech we've ever heard. Hey, everybody, I'm Chad Hasty, host of the Chad Hasty Show, weekday mornings 8:30 to 11 a.m. Central Time, News Talk, 95.1 FM and 790 AM KFYO. President Donald Trump addressing the United Nations, the General Assembly, and he had quite a few things to say, including when talking about North Korea. Now, I predicted on the show, the president was speaking while I was on the air, and just some of the quotes that were coming around, I predicted that the left would absolutely lose their minds. And guess what? I was right. Many on the left are saying that things that Donald Trump said were unstable, that this is the United Nations is supposed to be a place for peace and tranquility and for everybody to get along. And yeah, how's that been working out for you when it comes to North Korea and other places around the world? President Trump laid it out in blunt, easy to understand terms. North Korea, you screw around with us and we'll destroy you. Well, he said it a little bit more diplomatically than I just did. President Trump is saying, quote, the United States has great strength and patience, but if it is forced to defend itself or its allies, we will have no choice but to totally destroy North Korea. Now, for some reason, the left had a problem with that. Many on the left, at least that I was reading, they had a problem with that. They did not like it when the president said, we will totally destroy North Korea. So what exactly should the United States do when a foreign adversary attacks us or one of our allies? Just sort of pick on them again? Not destroy them? No. With the president, maybe what he should have said was, North Korea, if we are forced to defend ourselves or our allies, we will unleash holy hell upon your nation. That maybe would have been going a little bit too far. I don't know. But Trump saying that we will destroy your nation, yeah, that's pretty simple. I think it's easy for everybody to understand, right? North Korea, you bomb Japan, South Korea, or the United States or any of our other allies, and we will wipe you off the map. It's pretty easy for everybody to understand. I like the tough-talking Trump. I know some people don't, but I like it. I don't have any problem with it. It's much better than President Obama. We're going to draw a red line and then never enforce the red line. The president also, during this, talked about Iran. He said the Iran deal was one of the worst and most one-sided transactions that the United States has ever entered into. Frankly, that deal is an embarrassment to the United States. I don't think you've heard the last of it. Believe me, it is time for the entire world to join us in demanding that Iran's government end its pursuit of death and destruction. That sounds, again, pretty good to me. Trump also said that the world cannot allow the murderous regime to continue its destabilizing activities while building dangerous missiles. He added world leaders cannot abide by the agreement if it provides cover for Iran to eventually build its nuclear program, which Iran will eventually do. We cannot trust that country. Trump drawing applause for blasting Iran's murderous regime. The president also saying that they're not a true democracy. They're not even close to it. President said it's time for the world to join us in demanding Iran's government end its pursuit of death and destruction. I like that. I like the tough talk from President Trump. I think that it was a good thing. I think that, here we go. The Israeli Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, praised Trump and said in over 30 years, in my experience with the UN, I've never heard a bolder or more courageous speech. President Trump spoke the truth about the great dangers facing our world and issued a powerful call to confront them to ensure the future of humanity. I have to agree there. The president going after some of the top offenders in the world. He also spoke about socialism, and this was one of my favorite parts of the speech. So the president said, and I love this, this is a great line, this is one of those historic lines that people will remember, I hope, for years and years to come. The problem in Venezuela is not that socialism has been poorly implemented, but that socialism has been faithfully implemented. That from President Trump. From the Soviet Union to Cuba to Venezuela, wherever true socialism or communism has been adopted, it has delivered anguish and devastation and failure. Those who preach the tenets of these discredited ideologies only contribute to its continued suffering of the people who live under these cruel systems. America stands with every person living under a brutal regime. Our respect for sovereignty is a call for action. All people deserve a government that cares for their safety, their interests, their well-being, and their prosperity. That from President Trump. Now, I don't know how, unless you're just completely warped in the left way of thinking, how you can think any of what I just read is bad for America or bad for the world. President Trump gave a great speech at the United Nations. It was a call to arms. It was a call for a much better and prosperous world. And it was a call for Venezuela, Iran, and North Korea to straighten their nations out, and a call for the United Nations to help those nations straighten their issues out. It was bold. It was a great speech. It was plain spoken. Maybe it wasn't the most presidential speech you've ever heard in your life, but it was honest, and it was something that was easy for everybody to understand, including the regimes in Iran and North Korea. A+ to President Donald Trump in his speech. I loved what I heard. Tune in to the Chad Hasty Show weekday mornings, 8:30 to 11 a.m. Central Time. News Talk, 95.1 FM, 790 AM, KFYO.